Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Pokemon Challenge video. For this video, we go back to our regular format of 1 week Pokemon taking on the entire game. For this challenge, we are going with ONE Meowth in the original game, Pokémon Red. For the rules, we can only use ONE Meowth in battle. We can use other Pokemon for HMs. In this case, I went with Magikarp, that I made possible to use all HMs. I will not use any items in battle, and for this particular game, there are also no held items. No glitches of any sort, and no hacking in rare candies or anything like that. We start off by picking Meowth, which with the universal randomizer I replaced Bulbasaur, since many people would say facing Charizard from the rival would be the most difficult. In this run, I named the rival No Views, because for my channel that is always a part of the challenge. Anyways, we take on the rival and Meowth is able to take out the Charmander after several scratches, and the final one being a crit. After grinding up my Meowth a little to level 13, I decide to take on the rival again to the left of Viridian City, and he begins with his Pidgey. It does get me with a sand attack, which is always annoying, but by sticking with Scratch I take down the Pidgey. Charmander is next, and I missed my first Scratch because of the sand attack, but my second one nearly one-shots because of a crit, but one more Scratch takes it down. In Gen 1, critical hits are determined by speed, and since Meowth is pretty speedy, this will actually help us out quite a bit going forward. After some grinding through the Viridian Forest, we get to level 17, and I decide to take on the first gym. Brock starts off with Geodude. I try Payday since early in this game money is low, so using that I will pick up money at the end of each battle that I use it. But it does very little damage, so I switch over to Bite. This does quite a bit more damage, and also has the possibility of flinching, which we have some luck with on Geodude. It is mostly going for Defense Curl, so after several bites we take it out. Next is Onix. I try each of my attacking moves, but it seems like none do too much. I know Onix will start going for Bide, so once it does, I switch over to Growl, so Bide will not hit me after the 2 turns of storing energy. This also lowers Onix's attack, which is helpful even though it begins using Screech, lowering my defense. Onix gets me all the way down to 6 hit points, but we get a lucky flinch with Bite, and are able to take it out for our first gym badge. After conquering Mount Moon, we get over to Cerulean City, and take on the rival again in front of Nugget Bridge. We are now at level 23, so we should be ready. He starts with Pidgeotto, and luckily misses the sand attack. I go for Payday a few times to get the extra money, and I'm able to take it down with it only doing minimal damage from a quick attack. Next is Abra, which can't attack me, so I take it out with 1 bite. Next is Rattata, which hits me with 1 quick attack, but 2 Paydays are able to take it down. And finally is Charmander, which since I picked up the TM for Water Gun, it was an easy one-hit KO. We beat the rival, and if anyone's interested, Payday picked us up an extra $230. Our next major battle is our second gym battle against Misty. She begins the battle with Staryu. I'm now at level 27, and I go for a bite and we luck out with a critical hit and take it down with 1 attack. Next is Starmie. We hit it with a bite, it doesn't do much, and Misty goes for an X defend for some reason. I switch to Payday, and it does about the same as Bite, but we will make some extra money. They hit me with a Tackle, but then 1 more Payday wins the battle and gets us our second gym badge. Misty also gives us the TM for Bubble Beam, so I add that to my moveset over Water Gun. We go south and board the SS Anne for our next rival battle. We're up to level 32 with all the battles that we hit along the way. We're up to level 32 with all the battles that were along the way, but No Views begins with Pidgeotto again. I outspeed and take it down with 1 Payday critical hit. And then he brings out Raticate, which immediately hits me with a quick attack for a little damage. I go for Payday and it takes it down to about a quarter health. I outspeed and hit it with a second Payday to take it out. Kadabra is next, and it only takes 1 bite. And finally Charmeleon, which tanked a Bubble Beam, but then it missed Leer, so I was able to take it down with another Bubble Beam. Next up is the third gym, and Lieutenant Surge. He begins with Voltorb. I hit it with Payday for a big hit. It goes for Sonic Boom, which luckily it missed because that would have taken a quarter of my health right away. And 1 more Payday finishes it off. Next is Pikachu, which needs 1 Payday to take it out. And finally Raichu, which I struggled with initially and had to come back one time after a loss. But with better luck this time, I hit it with a bite. It gets flinched, and then 1 more bite gets me the 3rd badge. After going through Rock Tunnel, I immediately went down to the rival battle in the Pokemon Tower. I was already at level 38, and I didn't want to be completely over-leveled for this battle, but I was starting to get there. Anyways, No Views once again begins with Pidgeotto. I used Thunderbolt, the TM we received for the 3rd gym, and took it out with just one. Next is Execute. I hit it with a weak Thunderbolt, and it immediately goes for Hypnosis, so I'm asleep for a few turns. It is hitting me with Barrage until I finally wake up and go for a couple of paydays to take it out. Third is Gyarados, which was an easy battle with super effective Thunderbolt, taking it right out. Then comes out Kadabra, which only took one bite. Finally we have Charmeleon, that even with him using a potion, we just needed 2 Bubble Beams to win the battle. I went around and did a lot of story stuff between the Pokemon Tower battle and the 4th gym, from getting the gold teeth to get strength, to getting a Pokédoll so I could skip the Rocket hideout. When we finally get to Erica, I am already at level 45. Anyways, she starts with a Victory Bell, and I now have a Stab/Slash move to use that I replaced Bite with, which takes Victory Bell out with one move. Second is Tangela, which again, just one slash to win. And third is Vileplume, that has the same results as the last two. I may have been a bit over leveled for this gym by getting a lot of the story stuff done. I immediately flew down to Koga for the 5th gym, and he begins with a Coughing. I'm not going to lie, Koga fared much better than Erica to my surprise. Coughing held its own against Slash, and then hit 2 smoke screens to make me start missing until 2 paydays took it down. Next was Muck, which I was lucky and didn't miss, and took it down with 2 slashes. Next was another Coughing, which I got seriously lucky and hit 2 more slashes without missing. Finally came Wheezing, which had me all the way down to 12 hit points, and I was poisoned, but we lucked out and didn't miss a couple of slashes to finally take it out after they stupidly used X attacks instead of just taking Meowth down. But we do get our 5th badge. Now that should not have been so difficult, but those 2 smoke screens right away made that much closer than it should have been. Right after that, I head to Silphco, go around beating Team Rocket for some experience, and get to level 52 when I once again run into the rival. He starts out with Pidgeotto as usual, and I hit it with a Slash. It survives and hits me with a Sand attack, causing me to immediately miss on the next turn. It hits me with a Wing attack for a little damage, and I land a Payday to finish it off. Next up is Execute, which I missed a Slash on, and it of course lands a Leaf Seed to make things fun. I miss another Slash, but one finally lands to one-shot it out of the battle. Third is Gyarados, who is always an easy one-hit with Thunderbolt. That actually does land, so we're on to Alakazam. We were lucky again and hit our Slash for another one-hit finish. Finally is Charizard again, which I Bubble Beam for about half health, but then it hits me with a big critical hit Slash for most of my health. But I luckily land one more Slash to take it out and win the battle. Next up is Giovanni, while still in Silphco. He begins with Nidorino, and I hit a Bubble Beam on it. It retaliates with an annoying Fury attack that hits me 5 times before I take it down with another Bubble Beam. Next is Kangaskhan, who I crit with Bubble Beam. It misses a Comet Punch, and I finish with another Bubble Beam. Rhyhorn is out next and is easily taken out with Bubble Beam. And the last Pokemon is Nidoqueen. We hit it for over a half with Bubble Beam, but it hits back with a weak Poison Sting, and we finish the battle with another Bubble Beam. All in all, this was a pretty simple battle. I decided next to show the final Fighting Dojo battle. Not the most serious, but you guys probably want to break from the constant rival and gym battles. This guy starts with Hitmonlee, and I one-hit it with a Thunderbolt. Then he goes to Hitmonchan, which takes 1 Slash to take down. Admittedly, not the most exciting battle, but here it is anyway. We move on to the 6th gym to take on Sabrina. She begins the battle with Kadabra. It takes 1 Slash. Mr. Mime also 1 Slash. Venomoth, are you noticing a pattern? 1 Slash again. And finally, Alakazam goes down to 1 Slash. I don't like how over-leveled I am for this battle, or maybe Meowth is just much better than I thought. Either way, this battle was almost too easy for this run. Next up is the Fire Gym and its leader Blaine. He starts off the battle with Growlithe, who hits me with an Ember, but 2 Bubble Beams were enough to finish it. Second is Ponyta, and I switched to Slash for a one-shot. Third is Rapidash for another one-shot Slash, and his final Pokemon is Arcanine, who takes a crit Slash, but then he uses just a Super Potion to heal a little, and I'm able to take it out with a second Slash. 7th gym is complete. We finally arrive at the 8th gym to take on Giovanni for the final time. Meowth is now at level 60 for this battle, so I'm expecting a relatively easy sweep. First up is Rhyhorn, who can basically never withstand a water attack, so 1 Bubble Beam easily finishes it. Then out comes Dugtrio, who almost gets taken out with one Bubble Beam, but lives on like 1 health and goes for Dig. I of course miss the next turn, get hit by Dig for a ton of damage with the critical hit, but take it down with one more Bubble Beam. Next out is Nidoqueen, and I'm a little bit worried at this point with my health already in the yellow, but I go for a Slash for a big hit, and instead of attacking, Giovanni for some reason uses a Guard Spec on Nidoqueen, and I easily take it down with a second Slash. The final Pokemon is Nidoking. I get big damage with a Slash. I go all the way down to 21 HP after its Thrash, but I outspeed, so one more Slash wins me the battle, and our final gym badge. That battle was much closer than I expected, and honestly, if he didn't use that Guard Spec, I totally would have lost the battle. We get to the final rival battle before the champion battle. Pidgeot comes out and we take it out with 2 of our super effective Thunderbolts. Next is Rhyhorn, and just 1 Bubble Beam is all that took. Third is Execute, and I got lucky with a crit Slash that basically took it down to 1, and then we went for a Thunderbolt to finish it off. Next is Gyarados, and 1 Thunderbolt was able to take that down. Alakazam is next, and another crit Slash 1 hit for that guy. Charizard is of course last, but was easy on me this time, and I easily took it out with 2 Slashes. Not much thought was needed for this battle. I don't think the champion battle will be quite the same. We finally get to the Elite Four, and I begin with facing Lorelei. She starts the battle with Dugong, and I immediately go for a Thunderbolt. They somehow read this and went for Rest turn 1. I just needed 2 Thunderbolts in a row to take it down though. Next out is Cloyster. I hit a strong Thunderbolt that nearly one-shots, but they were able to confuse me with Supersonic before I finish it with a Bubble Beam. Third is Slowbro, and Meowth fights it through the confusion both turns to take it down with 2 Thunderbolts. Fourth is Jinx. Meowth snaps out of confusion and one-shots it with a crit Slash. Finally, we have Lapras. We hit on a Thunderbolt, it misses Hydro Pump. We connect again for Thunderbolt, but it still survives and they heal up with, for some reason, only a Super Potion. Then I hit it with a Slash to win the battle. Next up is Bruno. He sends out Onix. That's an easy one hit with Bubble Beam. Then Hitmonchan, which is super effective on me. I go for Slash. It does good damage, but it hits me with a Mega Punch, which does about a quarter of my health. I'm faster though, so I finish it with a Bubble Beam. Next is Hitmonlee. Luckily, Meowth is extremely fast, so I go first and take it down with a crit Slash. I get to level 69. Anyways, another Onix is next, 1 Bubble Beam again, and finally Machamp. I'm a little afraid here, so I go for a Toxic in case I need to whittle it down since I'm weak to fighting. It uses an X defense, so I go for Thunderbolt to hit from the special side. It then goes for a Focus Energy, so I go for another Bubble Beam, and it's almost out. It goes for the one-hit KO move Fissure, and luckily it doesn't affect me, or that would have been the end of my run. The poison then takes it out, and I escape that battle. Third up is Agatha. I won't lie, I'm showing you the battle I won against her, but I lost to Agatha several times. As you see, I'm all the way to level 82 now, because I showed you the first time I beat the first 2. I had to level up 13 levels to win this battle, and it was still just luck. Anyways, she begins with Gengar, and I luck out on my second Thunderbolt being a crit to take it out. Not being able to use Slash on the ghosts was a huge problem for me in this battle. Next is Golbat. I do another Thunderbolt since it's super effective and it takes it down with 1 hit. Next is Haunter. It only took 2 Thunderbolts, but taking another Nightshade in this battle had me down to low health already. Fourth is Arbok, so I'm able to use Slash finally, and that's a 1-hit KO on it. Finally, we have another Gengar, and I completely luck out with it trying to use Toxic on me twice, and both missing, while I was able to land 3 Thunderbolts for the win. That was a rough battle for me, even if this one made it look easy. We get to the final Elite Four member in Lance. He begins with Gyarados, which is easy with 1 Thunderbolt. Dragonair, I go for Thunderbolt, and it also paralyzes, so it cannot attack, and I Slash to take it down. The next Dragonair, I just go for Slash, and it ends up being a crit, so I 1-hit. Being faster in Gen 1 with Slash is a crazy good advantage. We then have Aerodactyl with 1 Thunderbolt, it's gone, and finally we have Dragonite. I Slash it, it goes for Agility, and 1 more Slash for the win. We go on to the champion. Finally, it's our last battle, and it's of course with no views for the last time. He predictably begins with Pidgeot. I go for a Slash, hoping for the crit, it survives, and then somehow went for a full restore. Not sure how that worked, but I Slash again. It begins a Sky attack, but I Thunderbolt to take it down first. Next is Alakazam, which was an easy one-hit critical slash. Rhydon was 1 Bubble Beam. Exeggutor only took 2 slashes, but it did land a Stomp on me. We then have Gyarados, which is always an easy 1 Thunderbolt. Then Charizard is the last Pokemon we face in this run. It only took 2 slashes, and for some reason it went for Rage as its one attack on me. I must admit the champion battle was not as bad or dramatic as I had hoped, but the Agatha battle was really tough. I must say I probably faced her over 10 times. Overall, this wasn't the most difficult run, but it was fun. As always, if anyone wants me to do a run, just go ahead and leave me ideas in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.